Hey guys, I'm Jeremy, and here's a video of some pretty cool alpine lakes I went to recently. I hope you do like alpine lakes because I'm going to have a lot of videos on this, so I hope you enjoy. So this is my second trip up to some alpine lakes in Colorado. About 3 weeks ago I went with my buddies up to a couple pretty nice spots. So I've been wanting to get back when I had time to some pretty cool places not far from Denver. I've really been into this alpine lake thing because the last few years I was in China, I'd found a few of these really pretty lakes and I was just like, wow man, this is like much cooler than just a regular hike or just doing a peak. Like they're just so pretty. And, you know, obviously when you do these huge peaks, you know, you might need equipment or it's just much more difficult and you don't always get good views. You can get bad weather and stuff. So I think the alpine lakes is like a great way to get to like some good hiking and, you know, try to see some beautiful things. So I did some research on some places near Denver and I'd seen, you know, I was looking for like two lakes that weren't too far apart. And so I decided on Grays Lake and Chihuahua Lake. So Grays Lake is next to Grays Peak, which is a popular 14,000 foot peak that a lot of people do. And so I figured that would be pretty cool, and that was only about 2 hours. And then nearby there, before you even get to Gray Lake, is Chihuahua Lake, and that's over 4 hours. But that also looked really beautiful. And I also knew that it would be on a dirt road, and I didn't know how good the conditions would be. So luckily my sister has a Jeep, so I was able to make it out there okay. And I think you could on a regular car, at least to Chihuahua Lake. But as you get up to Grays Lake on that Peru road, it's a little bit sketchy, so you got to be careful. So I asked some friends and some people online if they wanted to go, and there was some maybes, but I ended up going solo, which actually was okay because I was out Friday night at a movie night. I was a little hungover, so I didn't want to leave real early. And I also knew that weekend it was going to rain quite a bit. And so that was another thing I would have to kind of navigate the timing with that. So the regular route's about an hour and 45 minutes near Keystone Resort. And I went to get off near Loveland Pass and it was closed. So I had to go through Silverthorne. And then I realized when I came up to a light kind of near Keystone, there was like, you know, hundreds of cyclists going by. So that's the reason why I couldn't get through at that time. They must have had some event or something like that. So yeah, I didn't get to the parking lot till, I don't know, like 1:30 or 2 or so, and it was already super cloudy, and I was thinking like, I knew a storm was gonna roll in, and you know, I'm just hoping it's gonna be like one of those like 20-minute storms. And I started walking up the path, and I'd seen a truck actually pass me, which was really surprising because that road was like, I would definitely not try it in most vehicles, whether a truck or a Jeep. The one guy went down, and then I saw like 5 Jeeps coming down. So I guess regular Jeeps and some vehicles can definitely do these crazy trails. I mean, it seemed like a road to me. And the last lady that was going down, she's like, "Be careful of the weather, the storm's up there." And I, you know, I looked off in the distance and I was thinking about it, and I was like, this hike's at least 2 hours up there, you know, and a couple hours down. I was like, I'm gonna get soaked. And so I was only about 20-25 minutes into that hike, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go down. This isn't gonna be a 20-minute shower. And so I got to my van, and of course it started raining, and so I figured that day I would skip the Chihuahua and maybe do that the next day. And then I'd just head over towards Gray Lake, because that's only about two hours or 2.5 hours. So I headed down that dirt road, which is only, I don't know, another 35 minutes or something. And about halfway down or 2/3 down, it's not too bad, but then the road goes off to the right, maybe up to some mines or something like that. It passes the river and up wherever. After that, you might need a Jeep or a truck or something, because I'm not sure if a regular car it might bottom out there, but you might be able to try. So yeah, it was really pouring hard. There was only one Jeep there, one guy, and he took off, so I was the only one there. And I knew the rain wasn't going to stop anytime soon, so I was going to sit in the driver's seat, and I wasn't going to set up my tent in the rain, right? There's no point. And so I was like, I guess I'm going to find out how a 6'2" guy can fit in the back of a Jeep. And it wasn't too bad. It was about what I figured. Like, if I'm laying diagonally, You could almost stretch all the way out. A couple inches a little too short, but it was okay. Better than having to put up a tent and then having that wet in the morning, right? And so it was also around that time that I found out that my nice $1,500 camera that I just bought isn't very useful if I don't have a memory card. I was like, damn it. I've only used this camera on like one trip or so, and I'm like, oh, I left my memory card at home. So I wasn't gonna I could have actually gone back to town and gone to like a Walmart or something, but I've got a GoPro and a drone and a phone. It's like, I'll live. Yeah, so luckily after a couple hours, I was able to take off like past 4 o'clock. So I was like, great, because I would at least be able to do the one lake. And I headed down the trail. There's some construction equipment and stuff, and there's a gate there. And you just walk down that dirt road, and the river itself was super pretty. Like, I'm not sure if it's from like the calcium and magnesium deposits or whatever, but it was like super clear, like blue and white, and really pretty. And then I headed down the road for a bit, and I hadn't downloaded any of the maps, but I could still see the like general area, and I knew where the lake was, and you could see the GPS, but I didn't know where the actual like road was. So there was a turnoff to the left, and I was like, that's kind of more direct, so I took that up. And it kind of just led to like some old mining equipment. I'm not sure what that big thing is. It looks almost like a huge offset smoker, like something you'd use to like smoke meat for about 500 people or something like that. But I don't think it was for that, even though that would be a good idea. And unfortunately, there wasn't too much of a trail there, but I was pretty close to the lake, and I don't mind like beelining it sometimes, because sometimes it's a little more interesting than just walking on a dirt road anyway. The only bad thing is that all of those bushes are like sponges with the rain. So if you walk right through there, like my legs and feet were sopping wet basically. And it's cool too when you beeline, because you get to see some different views, and like I wouldn't have seen like kind of that small waterfall in a few other places. And then when you come back, you have a different route. So you're kind of seeing, a couple different perspectives. But yeah, I had some nice views of a Grays Peak, and you finally come up to that lake, and it was super pretty. And I was the only one up there too, so it was pretty cool. Yeah, so I got some nice views there. And then I headed down on the main road, which kind of goes all the way around and back. And so it's a little, it's farther than just beelining it. But it was nice, because at least I'm not like walking through any bushes or anything like that. Yeah, and so I headed down that trail back down to my Jeep and made supper. And there wasn't anyone else around there the whole night, so I had the whole place to myself. And I just listened to some audiobooks and tried to get to bed early. It was still kind of off and on cloudy, and then it looked like in the middle of the night I could see the stars, so it must have cleared up. But then by morning, it got cloudy again, and a few people started showing up. I think the first car showed up to that lot around like 4:30, and then about 4 others until about like 7 o'clock when I left. And I was surprised actually that many people were there that early, but they probably camped right nearby, because I went down about a mile and I saw like 7 or 8 tents and no vehicles, and I was like, oh, that whole group probably got there in the morning to hike up to Grays Peak, which obviously is past that lake. It must be probably another 2 hours up there, maybe a 3-hour hike or something, I'm not sure. Which is actually what I wanted to do if it wasn't rainy and I already did Chihuahua Lake that Sunday morning. I would have maybe attempted to do Grays Peak, but the weather wasn't good and everything. So I went down and got to the trailhead where Chihuahua Lake starts. And I, passed where I was at the day before, and you definitely want to download the trail maps beforehand, because, there was tons of rain and different things. So sometimes you obviously don't want to walk like right on the main trail, because like it's all water, so you go off to the side. And then I'm on kind of like either another trail or something. And once or twice, me and actually another guy I was walking with, we were kind of like walking up, and I knew it was a little away from the lake, but I was like, oh, well, maybe it switchbacks up and then, like you come around or something, but that wasn't the case. So yeah, just download the maps ahead of time, because you don't have a cell phone signal out there at all. And actually, when we were over going up that switchback to the right, which probably went to this like little kind of valley or pocket over there, but I started hearing dogs screaming like crazy. And I wasn't sure if it was his dog, but there was like a pack of coyotes that were howling. So I don't know if it'd be unsafe or anything, but yeah, I was glad we weren't continuing up that way anyway. So yeah, it must have taken me about 2.5 hours to finally get up to the lake, but that was also super pretty. Different kind of view and everything like that, but really nice. So I didn't stay there long. I felt bad for the guy I was walking with because I know he wanted a few hours to fish. And I was like, I should just head down right away because I knew it was gonna rain. And by the time I got down, like, the 2 hours down, I got to my Jeep, it was like, the rain started hitting hard. And really the whole way back to Denver, it was like torrential downpours for like most of the time. So it was great that I got to see both those lakes, and I would definitely go back there and recommend that for people. Those are so far even better than the first couple lakes I saw. I went to like the Crater Lakes were quite nice, and so was Jenny Lake and Yankee Doodle Lake. You could drive your car by those. So this was like you have to hike to these lakes, and a little bit more remote. And yeah, it had less people than Crater Lake. I think there was only about 20 people tops that were up at Chihuahua Lake. That's like people coming and going, and people like I had seen. So pretty scarce for, I think, that type of area that's not far from Denver. So it's definitely a great place to hang out. And if you want to come out with me sometime, I'll definitely post a link for that, because I'll definitely advertise that for like a tour I'll feature in the future. So whether for the day or camping. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more content. My channel has a lot of different stuff from my travels around the world, whether hiking or biking, and some of the things over the years I've done, whether I was in the military, commercial fishing in Alaska, or my experience living in China and Taiwan for 15 years. And I was a teacher there and led tours and did all kinds of stuff. So if that stuff's beneficial for you or entertaining, subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers.